This term we decided that we'd start looking at improving the students' literacy, specifically their skills in their writing. We used mini games on the computer for learning times tables and things like that, but nothing to this extent and nothing so different. So it wasn't really looking at just doing one skill, it was doing lots of skills and something that was completely different, but using it as a stimulus rather as the whole thing. So a good starting point for this was looking at a game called Machinarium, and we did that as a whole class game.
Yep.
So I started out by just asking the kids to show me what they thought we would do next, and then from that the kids took over and they started playing, and it got to a point where I could just step back and the kids would be able to say, okay, we need to try this next, and it became a real problem-solving exercise for them. It was called Epic Citadel. And through that game we did descriptive paragraphs. We did that, they did some screenshots, and then they did some writing based on that in a pair, and some of the descriptive writing that we got from that was just incredible. We did a lot of work beforehand with a See, Think, Wonder, and writing down everything that they saw in that picture, everything they thought about and what questions they had from that. So the kids, I don't think, had ever experienced QR codes. Like, they'd seen them around, but they never actually used them, and they had no idea of what they could be used for. And I didn't even have any idea of what they could be used for. And it wasn't until we actually did put them onto the pictures and the kids were able to just quickly scan them and listen to themselves that they realised how cool they could be and what they could be used for. Students were able to have an authentic audience. It wasn't just their teacher, it wasn't just their peers. We had the principal come in, we had parents come in on our celebration of Learning Day, and they were really excited. They had no idea how we were able to do this, and the kids were then able to explain to their parents the steps that we'd taken to make it, and it was very impressive. And we even had the Archbishop send out a letter to all of the kids, and we handed them out at the end of the day, and on the back of it was a QR code, and the kids immediately went and grabbed the iPad, scanned it so they could listen to the Archbishop's message. Okay. So the second game that we used was called Real Mist, and in that game basically the idea was that the kids would go through and explore it and then use that as a stimulus to then do a narrative story. There isn't a lot to go on in Real Mist. There's no character, you can't see anybody's faces, it doesn't give you a background story, but there is a lot of stimulus in terms of the environment that you're in, the rooms that you go in. The kids found a lot of what they called clues. There were little books in different places, so from that they were able to plan out and then draft and write a narrative. So only having a 9-week term, I didn't think that I'd be able to get as much done as I had done in this term. To be able to get the amount of writing and the quality of the writing from the kids was just intense. It was just to be able to see a child who at the beginning of term had trouble writing one sentence was able to do 1.5 pages with paragraphs and correct spelling. I mean, he needed a bit of prompting to do it, but he got there in the end, and that was really exciting as a teacher to see the growth even over a short amount of time. I had a lot of scaffolding in place with the kids. We had a lot of graphic organisers and a lot of modelling that we did, and from that I think we were able to get those outcomes a lot faster and a lot more quality than I thought we could have done if I'd just said, okay, we need to go and do this, go and do it now, without having any kind of background to it or a next step for them to go to. Well, from using the games in the classroom, the kids were engaged right from the beginning. They thought it was lots of fun and they didn't really see it as work as such. And a lot of the kids that I wouldn't expect to be engaged were engaged, and then ones that I'd never heard even speak before were putting up their hand for everything and calling out ideas and things to do for the next part of the game. So I think that was a really big plus for them. I really enjoyed teaching this term. I had fun doing it. I was really engaged, and I think that made the kids even more engaged because I was excited about what I was learning and what I was seeing the kids doing.